What's up, GY6 heads? Today we're doing something super sweet, and it all has to do with the GY6. I don't care if you have a Mad Dog, a Ruckus with the GY6 in it, a Tau Tau, a Raquetta, whatever, buggy, ATV, one of those little motorcycles with the GY6. We're going to take that engine, which is the QMJ 157 150cc, and we're going to crank that sucker to the frickin' moon. We're talking big bore kit, cam, big valve head, CVT transmission kit, final drive gears for higher top speed, case brace, REVENO clutch, the whole 9 yards. This is a multi-part series where I took a live, I do lives once a week, and this last live was like 2 hours long. So what I did is I cut it up and put it into this is a multi-part series. This is going to be number 1 where we start tearing that engine down. Now, if you want to see the rest of it, then you can become a member and get the raw feed, link in the description, or you're going to want to hit that little blue bell that's right on the side and hit the subscribe button so you get notified when the new series comes out. I'm going to show you step by step how to do this. Let's freaking do it. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is tear the panels off. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Just going to pull these. Alright, let's pull this. This sucker comes right off at the top, just like that. One on the bottom. There's a side cover. On the side here, there is a couple bolts for the starter. And then just give her a wiggle. Pops out. That's a GY6 150 starter. Super easy. I've already added some NCY brakes on there. Those are nice for a little extra stopping power if you can't afford the disc brakes, or if you don't even want to go disc brakes. If you're ever doing this, you got to make sure that your little O-ring on your starter lubed up. Just pop this sucker in there. Real easy. I'm going to come back around because I need to add a ground wire to that. Oh, on some of these GY6 engines, you'll see when you get them in the mail, you've got this head cover with the little breather on the top, and then you've got this guy. This comes from the transmission. This is the breather, and you'll see them plugged in like this. Always unplug those suckers. This is just during shipping. I've seen people keep this plugged in like this, and when you go to check the oil, it like sprays out like super pressurized because it doesn't have anywhere to breathe. So remember that. One thing though you can do if you want, so this is like the little breather for the whole engine. One thing you can do is one of these breather kits that you take your dipstick out, you screw this, it kind of has a spot for a dipstick if you can see that. That screws in, and then that's how that works. Alright, anybody have any questions on anything that I've went through up to this point? Let's see. Yes, this kit would work on a Mad Dog. Any Mad Dogs, they have the QMJ 157 engine. You'll know that because next to the little kickstand on the left side there, you'll see a stamp that says 157 QMJ, just like this one. If you have that stamp on your engine, this kit will work. Okay, so got the starter on. That's not a necessity when we do this. What I do need to do though is pull this CVT off. So to get these off, I normally just nail them, to be honest. And that's how it's done. Same thing. That sucker is on there. Pull these off. Just like that. Pull this off. I will need the washers and nuts, so I'll keep those down. Won't need this. Remember, I have a REVENO clutch. So I don't need that belt either. Pull that sucker off. variator, the old variator. I've got this thing. This is the kickstart. You gotta be careful here because that's spring loaded and it's kind of scary. This kickstart gear we'll never use again. It's actually going into the trash, so otherwise I'd go get the kickstart. So I hold this down, otherwise I get the kickstart actual deal. This is the scariest part, this spring here. There it goes. Alright, set that aside. Won't need that stuff. A little bushing in here. We don't need that. Pull that out of there. One thing you do want to keep though is this sucker. Keep that. I'm just gonna start stripping this thing down. Alright, so I need to pull these this fan off. Very important to keep the bolts with the fan. Big time. The reason why, what I see a lot is, see if you do the wrong bolt and it's longer, it'll go right into your stator that's on the other side here. So that is a super tip there. This is the Magneto. So I'm super curious if this is on there that tight as well. Not as tight, so that's good. In our wiring harness, the tool comes with it. So this is the flywheel puller tool. You can call this a magneto, a flywheel, a rotor, a couple different things you can call it. A son of a gun, because it's not coming off. Crank that down. So it's a reverse thread to get it on there. And then you just screw this in. And you just hit it barely. See that? Comes right off just like that. So we've got an 8-pole stator in there, which sucks because anytime you run any accessories, especially EFI, you're gonna need a stronger stator. And we're going with the 12-pole because that's what comes in our harness. So I'm just taking all this apart. Probably just install this 12-pole stator right now. Eight pole coming out, going in the trash. And then we've got our 12-pole rolling wrench. Oh yeah. Stator. So the stator's made for the charging system. It'll charge your battery, and also the stator also has a pickup. When the pickup, this guy, spins past, this is your rotor. See that little magnet piece? They call that the reluctor. So this goes inside there, just like that. And when the reluctor passes, the pickup coil, is what you call this. They're not actually touching, it just passes through, a magnetic field passes through. That's what tells the engine when to spark. So that's what's going on there. One thing that I like to do, a lot of times you can pull this little cover off if you want. See how it holds the wires? You could do that. I do that from time to time, but not always. Crank this up. Slide your... Right now I'm just lining everything up to make sure we're good. Just like that. Remember, it's super important to keep your fan bolts separated. Remember these guys? Let's put some blue Loctite on them. I'm going to torque these other bolts in it, but I just have this Loctite out for right now. I see these bolts come loose a lot, and that ruins the whole stator. 7 foot-pounds. That's torqued down. Come on, baby. There it is. Okay. 8 foot-pounds. Now, pickup coil in. I always start these by hand. Put a little blue Loctite on them. You just want to make sure your wires are not going to get pinched when you crank it down. Double check I'm not pinched. We're good. Crank that down, 7 foot-pounds. Then we've got this guy. More blue Loctite. 8 foot-pounds. There we go. There we go. Okay, we got to make sure that our wire is not in the way or anything like that. We got our, see this little rubber grommet here? That goes in right there. And here's something super important. See this cutout? Little cutout for the key. There's a key on the crank. You want to make sure that lines up. So see, if I turn it, it'll go in. You see that? So that's out of adjustment, or out of its slot. And if I move it, see, it'll fall in. Bam. That's in. So do that. Put a little Loctite on the nut. I want to visually look back in the back side here and make sure that my wire is not touching the Magneto, which it is not, so we're good there. Pete comes flying in with the super chat. I really appreciate you. Brett Overfield, $4.99 super chat. I appreciate you, Brett. Definitely appreciate that. 45 foot-pounds on this guy here, so I'm gonna crank that up to 45 foot-pounds. I will definitely need my flywheel holding tool for this. Okay, here we go. One thing I gotta check, I'm gonna turn this over a little bit. See this little opening right here? That needs to be like really freaking close. We got the exact spec, but I always just eyeball it anyway. Basically like a business card thickness. These things aren't too adjustable, so put the back of a mallet on there and crank it down just a little bit more. There we go. That's really, really close. You want that to be really close, otherwise the bike won't start very well. So I might just go just a little bit more. Yeah, we're good there. So now let's do the fan bolts to not get those bolts mixed up. Okay, we got to go back down to 8 foot-pounds. Normally I just tighten these up like just by hand. You know, I kind of know my stuff like this. I feel really good about. Been doing it for years. I'm not too worried about torquing that down, but I think you should. All right, so I got most of that done. Dang, you guys are super chatting me up. I appreciate you. Mark comes flying around the corner with a super chat. $5. I appreciate that galore. Thank you so much. So the 12 pole is a DC system, not an AC. So an AC system requires an extra wire to kill it. You don't need that because we're running a DC system, which means that we can do a 12 pole stator instead of 11 pole. Because actually, watch my stator video. I did a complete stator video not too long ago. Check that out. I tried to do like the max, do the best if I could. I have it running the stereo and the undertail lights, no problem at all. You can even run EFI, actually. All right, so who's ready for me to tear this engine down? So this part right here is the pair valve. This is for emission control. The head that we're running, if you notice, doesn't have that right there. Right here is the pair valve, this whole thing. You have two options. Let me take it off so you know what I'm talking about. Oh. Okay, so this is your pair. You have two options. You can buy a head without the pair valve on there. It takes the exhaust, the unburned exhaust, pushes it back through the into a canister. It's kind of like a PCV valve on a car. So this head doesn't have that. So you can change your head to a better head, of course, or just buy a pair block-off kit, which I have on the website, of course. There we go. This is a little gasket for the cooling shrouds. So I'll take that, put it aside. So here's the stock valve cover. See, it's got all this business. You have the pair valve attached to it. And here is the rolling wrench valve cover without the baloney, just a lot cleaner. Same thing, just no emission control on there. So I'm just going to take these bolts, put them in there. I won't need these other ones. I'm actually gonna take the timing chain tensioner loose. Here's a quiz. Who knows what this is? I know a couple of you have gotten some of these. This is, I'll wait for a second to see if somebody's gonna answer it. What is this? Number 3 screwdriver at the end. This is a impact screwdriver, slap hammer driver, just like you know. So these things are always a pain to get off, these number 3 right here. So I just give it a little hit. Here we go. You always want to make sure that's loose before you take all this off, because otherwise it's freaking hard to loosen when it's already off. So this is just being held on right now by a gasket, so I'm going to give it a little, there it goes, just like that. Keep these together because these are a certain length. I'm going to bring out the monster for this one. Just loosen these up. Loosen these in a cross pattern. Now you only want to loosen with a gun, okay? In a cross pattern, not tighten. There's little washers under each nut there, okay? Give us a little wiggle. Gotta be careful because there's some dowels on the bottom of this. We will reuse this, so notice that EX there? That means exhaust. Space is down. So here is a dowel right here. Here, one goes there. You'll know because the hole's a little bit bigger. If I try to slide this in there, it wouldn't work out. So I normally just put them back into our little slot here. But I'm going to take this chain off, just pull it up like that, take the old cam out. I'll review this old cam in a minute and take this other dowel out. Oily slick. Again, putting that dowel in. There's 2 8mm bolts right on the side here. These bolts right here. And these are really long, so look like that. You're gonna keep those together. What I normally do is I keep everything together with the, I put them in the valve cover because I know that all this goes with it. The new valve cover. Just like that. Pull your gasket off. Your 150cc gasket. You don't need that anymore. One-time use. And then there's a guide here that pulls out. Let's clean it off. There's a lot more oil in here than I would like to see because this is a brand new engine. Cream Blast comes flying in with a $10 super chat. I appreciate you, dude. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Definitely appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna give this a little tap at the top. And that's just to break the gasket loose. I don't ever want to put a screwdriver in the top here and like try to pry it because these are mating surfaces that you don't want to disrupt. So, oh, before I do that, there's some more dowels right at the top here. Could take those off now or later, but I think I'll do it right now. Okay, same as the other one. Okay, here's the other one. Just like that. Okay, now that those are off, I can give this a little wiggle. This will slide off of here. Oh, looks like our chain's caught a little bit. There we go. And again, there's more dowels here. Okay. The cool thing is these are all the same. So if you keep them all together, you're good. So here is our old cylinder, old gasket. I love seeing this when the old gasket comes off. That makes life way easy. Then you don't have to peel it off. So set that aside. Now you just turn this by hand. Make sure that your chain doesn't get bound up. Okay. over here. I gotta pull this G-clip out and grab here and give it a little twist. And now I can come around the side and I can push. If this pin's not in there very good, it's just not. Sometimes they're kind of tight. I can peel the old piston off. So you want to make sure that you get your old G-clip, all this stuff out of the way so you don't get them mixed up. I'm just going to wipe off this extra oil that's down here. Here's the old piston. So this is a flat top piston. These are the best pistons for performance in my opinion. You could do a dome piston, which makes it really nice for you know, starting up cold, but it doesn't rev as high. So I like a flat top piston. Now, thanks for watching the first part of the series. Make sure you comment what you learned, because the whole goal here is to teach you. It's me giving back, teaching you how to do this stuff. I've been doing this stuff for 20 freaking years, and it's time for me to start giving you guys the 101 on all this. So make sure you hit the little thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, hit the thumbs down button 2 times. And you know the drill. Hit the subscribe button and the little blue bell. It's right on the side so you can get notified when the new videos come out. Next episode's coming. I'll see you over there.